Narcissistic love often feels safe until it turns into a scoreboard. At the beginning, you feel almost worshipped, like their whole world revolves around you. Then, without warning, that safety hardens into conditions you were never meant to live up to. Until one day you realize you're not being loved, you're being evaluated. If you've been trying harder and harder to get back to the version of them who once thought you were perfect, this reflection is for you. By the end of this video, you'll understand why warmth became critique, why you started shrinking to keep the peace, and why it was never about a flaw in you, it was about control. In Anna's story, there's a moment that looks so ordinary, you could almost miss it. If you've ever wondered how you lost confidence without one big fight, this is the moment it starts. She's standing in front of the mirror, getting ready to go out with David. She smooths her dress, touches up her lipstick. There's a small, quiet lift in her chest. It's small, but it's real, and it matters, because it's about to be edited. I feel good, she thinks. I like how I look today. Later, as they head out the door, David pauses behind her, watching her closely. That lipstick, he says softly, maybe turn it down tomorrow. You don't need all that. You're prettier when you're more natural. First rule of the test, your preferences become negotiable. He's not shouting, he's not calling her names, he's just giving his opinion. And if it stayed as one opinion, it wouldn't matter. But it doesn't. It spreads. From the outside, it looks like a couple getting ready. From the inside, it's the beginning of a quiet lesson. Your judgment is suspect. Mine is the one we should trust. Because it isn't feedback, it's a quiet takeover of her right to decide. How do you explain that moment when the person who once adored you suddenly feels like they're grading you? When every outfit, every word, every reaction starts to feel like it might be too much, not enough, or somehow wrong. Inside of Anna, something small and important takes a step back. The next time they go out, she chooses a softer shade. Not because she prefers it, but because she prefers peace. He smiles a little more warmly. See, he says, that's better. Much more you. What he means is, more like my version of you. And in that tiny, everyday moment, her relationship with herself tilts, just a few degrees. Devaluation rarely begins as cruelty, it begins as correction. A compliment with a hook, a soft voice, and a tightening room. It often arrives disguised as helpful feedback, and none of it feels big enough to call abuse. You hear things like, I'm just trying to help you. Trust me, I know what works. But it also doesn't feel like freedom. This isn't about helping her grow. Those suggestions are quietly training her to trust his judgment more than her own, so he stays in control. One day it's hair, another day it's the tone of her voice. And little by little, Anna stops asking, do I like this? And starts asking, will they approve? She starts reading him for cues on who she's allowed to be. Have you ever started doubting yourself over the smallest things, because someone close to you always seemed just a bit more sure? What began as love, the compliments, the you're perfect, the I love everything about you, slowly turns into an ongoing appraisal. Are you pleasing enough today, quiet enough, attractive enough? Inside it might sound like, if I wear what I really like, will they pull away? If I laugh the way I naturally laugh, will they roll their eyes? If I say I don't like their suggestion, will it ruin everything? Your nervous system learns safety comes from matching them, not from being yourself. Let's pause and name the pattern. This is how the test works. Praise becomes a reward, critique becomes a leash, and the rules keep changing, so you keep adjusting until you don't recognize who you are anymore. And this doesn't happen in a vacuum. In the beginning, there were moments of real warmth. The way they lit up when you walked into the room, the way they told you were beautiful, the way they made you feel like the only one. So when the criticisms begin, they don't erase the tenderness, they distort it. I'll praise you when you fit my picture. I'll correct you when you don't. You're not imagining how confusing that is. One moment, I love how confident you are. Later, you're a bit full on, you know. People probably think you're too much. And you start thinking, if I can just get it right again, they'll go back to how they were before. You're not trying to be someone you're not. You're trying to get back to the version of them who felt safe and adoring. And slowly, without noticing when it started, you shift from, do I feel loved here? To, what do I need to change to keep their love? That is the heart of devaluation. Love stops being a meeting between two whole people and becomes a moving target you are always trying to hit. It's not that you weren't enough. It's that you were trying to earn safety from someone who kept moving the goalposts. Now, here's a helpful distinction. In a healthy connection, feedback and preferences still exist. Someone can say, I don't love that shade, but if you like it, wear it. Devaluation says, if you like it and I don't, there must be something wrong with your judgment. Healthy love might tease you playfully. Devaluation uses jokes to slide in real criticism, then calls you too sensitive when it hurts. Healthy love still lets you feel like you. Devaluation slowly makes you feel like you have to audition for the role of acceptable. If any of this feels uncomfortably familiar, I want you to hear this clearly. You weren't high maintenance for wanting kindness. You weren't too sensitive for feeling hurt when they mocked you or kept fixing you. You were responding like a human being whose dignity was being chipped away. Here's how you can tell it's happening. I'd like to offer you a few questions you can gently carry with you, not to talk yourself out of what you feel, but to help you notice when this pattern might be starting. You don't have to distrust everyone. You don't have to treat every suggestion as danger. But you can begin to ask, do my small preferences feel safe here? Or do they become a critique of me? When they joke about me, do I feel included or a little smaller inside? After spending time with them, do I feel grounded in my own perspective, or like I suddenly know nothing and they know everything? If even one of those questions stings, that isn't a sign you're overreacting. It's information. It's the part of you that can still sense when something isn't sitting right. And if you're listening to this thinking, I can see all of this now, and I still find myself wanting their approval, that makes so much sense. When someone has trained you to see yourself through their eyes, of course a part of you still reaches for their affirmation. That pull doesn't mean they were right about you. It means your nervous system got used to living on their evaluations. And the qualities that kept you trying, your loyalty, your courage, your willingness to reflect and adapt, aren't evidence that you were weak. They're proof of how deeply you commit when you care, even in a relationship that was quietly erasing you. If this reflection is hitting close, be kind to yourself. You're not meant to rebuild your self-worth in a single moment. It comes back slowly, in small shifts inside you. Simply being able to say, it wasn't that I was never enough, it's that the rules kept changing, is already a different kind of truth. If you'd like more context, it might help to listen to Anna's story from the beginning. I've placed the link in the description. If you need one line to carry with you, let it be this. Love isn't something you earn by shrinking. It's something you're met with as you are. What happened to you was not a judgment on your worth, only a reflection of their insecurity, of how threatened someone felt by your full self. You deserved steadiness, not conditions, not correction dressed as care. You still do. And there is a kind of connection where you can be fully yourself and still be met with safety, acceptance, and respect.